Winter is not just a season of Santa, snow, or cozy mugs of hot chocolate. It's a season of bizarre, frozen mysteries that science can't fully explain. Sure, we all love a good snowfall, but what about rivers that freeze into perfect waves? Ice that hums like a ghostly choir? Or spheres of frozen water that look like they were carefully placed by something not human? The coldest corners of our planet are packed with icy oddities that seem to bend the laws of nature, leaving even the brightest scientists scratching their heads. Some of these defy physics, others challenge everything we know about ice, and a few, well, they're just plain weird. So, let's put on our snow boots and explore 15 unexplained ice phenomena that have stumped scientists. Number 15. Light pillars. Ever stepped outside on a bone-chilling night and seen glowing towers of light floating above the ground? No, you're not witnessing an alien invasion. These are light pillars, nature's eerie light show. They rise like phantom beacons, reflecting every color imaginable, making them look more like something out of a sci-fi movie than a weather phenomenon. So, what's actually happening? When the air is freezing and still, tiny flat ice crystals drift down from high altitudes and hover closer to the ground. Instead of just scattering, they act like little mirrors, reflecting artificial lights from street lamps, car headlights, or even neon signs. The result? A vertical beam of color stretching high into the sky is sometimes mistaken for UFO activity. And here's the wild part. Light pillars aren't just limited to cityscapes. When the sun or moon hits the crystals just right, they create sun pillars or moon pillars, turning an already hauntingly beautiful sight into something downright surreal. Number 14. Penitentes. If you ever find yourself in the high-altitude deserts of South America, don't be surprised if the landscape looks like something straight out of an apocalyptic nightmare. Meet Penitentes, razor-sharp ice formations that tower over the barren land like frozen claws reaching for the sky. Some stand as tall as a person, while others stretch over 20 feet high, like nature's own army of icy sentinels. These eerie structures form thanks to an extreme process called sublimation, where solid ice skips the liquid stage and turns directly into vapor. The sun melts the snow unevenly, carving out deep grooves and jagged peaks over time. The result? An army of ice spires that could easily double as a death trap for unwary travelers. Despite their delicate, almost otherworldly look, penitents are no joke for mountaineers. Imagine trying to hike through a frozen maze of razor-thin spikes where one wrong step could leave you battered and bruised. Number 13. Ice balls. Picture this. You walk along a Siberian beach expecting to see nothing but endless snow and ice. Instead, the shore is littered with giant frozen snowballs, some as big as boulders, stretching for miles like nature just finished up a game of bowling. This isn't some freak accident. It's a rare phenomenon caused by a combination of fragile ice, a slushy mix of ice crystals and water, strong winds, and rolling waves. As the water churns, the ice clumps together and tumbles like dough in a mixer, gradually forming perfectly round spheres. Depending on the conditions, some stay small, while others grow up to 3 feet in diameter and weigh over 50 pounds. Definitely not the kind of thing you'd want to throw in a snowball fight. And just to keep things interesting, these icy orbs can take on a weird tan color when mixed with sand. Number 12. Icicles of death. Well, forget the icicles hanging from your roof. Brinicles, or icicles of death, form underwater, and they're just as terrifying as they sound. Imagine a twisting, frozen tentacle of ice snaking its way toward the ocean floor. The moment it touches anything, starfish, sea urchins, or unsuspecting fish, it freezes them alive in an instant. This nightmare fuel forms in the polar regions, where sea ice releases super salty brine that's denser and colder than the water around it. As this freezing brine sinks, it creates an icy tube that extends downward like an underwater stalactite. Anything unlucky enough to be caught in its path gets trapped in a rapidly expanding patch of ice, a literal death zone. But here's the kicker. Brinicles might also hold clues to the origins of life. The chemical-rich environment inside them could mimic conditions on ancient Earth or even icy moons like Europa. Number 11. Ice volcanoes. When you think of volcanoes, you probably picture fiery explosions of molten rock, not freezing geysers of ice. But out in the vastness of space, ice volcanoes or cryovolcanoes rewrite the rulebook. Instead of spewing lava, these chilling behemoths erupt with frozen gases like water, ammonia, and methane, creating a landscape that's both breathtaking and completely alien. Scientists got hyped about cryovolcanoes when they spotted them on Pluto in 2016, but they've been on our radar since 1989, when Voyager 2 caught glimpses of them on Neptune's moon Triton. And these things are no small deal. Pluto's Right Mons stands at 2.5 miles high and stretches across 90 miles. That's bigger than some of Earth's most famous mountains. But here's where it gets even weirder. Unlike Earth's volcanoes, which rely on molten rock, these ice-spewing giants erupt because of internal pressure and freezing conditions, making them a frigid mystery waiting to be unraveled. Scientists are still piecing together how they work, but one thing's for sure, space is way cooler, literally, than we ever imagined. All right now, let's move to Number 10. Thunder Snow. Ever heard thunder crack in the middle of a blizzard? That's thunder snow, one of nature's rarest and most mind-bending weather events. Imagine a regular thunderstorm, but swap out the rain for heavy, blinding snowfall. The result? A deafening rumble that echoes through the frozen air, accompanied by eerie flashes of lightning buried within the storm. But here's the catch. You'll never actually see a bolt of lightning streaking across the sky during thunder snow. The thick snowfall acts like a natural filter, muting the flashes into a strange, ghostly glow. And if that's not weird enough, the sound of the thunder gets trapped and muffled by the dense snowfall, making it feel oddly distant, even if it's happening right above your head. The conditions for this freaky phenomenon have to be just right. Cold enough for snow, but with a warm air pocket underneath, creating the unstable atmosphere needed for a storm. It's rare, unpredictable, and completely mesmerizing. Number 9. Hoarfrost. Step outside on a frigid morning and you might find the world transformed into something straight out of a fairy tale. Trees, grass, and even fences coated in a thick layer of delicate white crystals. That's hoarfrost, nature's own version of winter magic. Unlike regular frost, which forms when moisture freezes on a surface, hoarfrost happens when water vapor skips the liquid stage and goes straight to solid ice. This process, called deposition, creates feathery, needle-like ice structures that cling to everything in sight. The more moisture in the air, the thicker and fluffier the frost becomes, turning entire landscapes into an icy wonderland. The name itself comes from Old English, meaning frost that looks like an old man's beard, which, honestly, is a pretty accurate description. But don't let its delicate beauty fool you. When hoarfrost builds up on roads or power lines, it can cause chaos, turning surfaces into dangerously slick sheets of ice. Number 8. Pancake ice. If you've ever seen a river or ocean covered in giant floating lily pads of ice, you've witnessed one of winter's strangest formations, pancake ice. These bizarre circular ice disks look like nature's attempt at making oversized frisbees, scattered across the water in clusters that can stretch for miles. So how does this happen? When the temperature drops, slush forms on the surface of the water. But instead of freezing into a solid sheet, the ice chunks start bumping into each other as waves and currents toss them around. This constant movement rounds their edges and pushes up their sides, forming thick, doughy rims, kind of like what happens when you spin a pizza in the air. In calmer waters, pancake ice stays small and delicate, but in rougher oceans, the disks stack and fuse together, eventually forming massive ice sheets. Number 7. Sky punch. Ever looked up and seen a giant, perfectly round hole in the clouds, like something punched straight through the sky? That's a sky punch, or fall streak hole, and it looks exactly as apocalyptic as it sounds. The weirdest part? It's caused by something as mundane as airplane engines. Clouds are made of supercooled water droplets, meaning they're below freezing but haven't turned into ice yet. When a plane passes through, it forces those droplets to freeze instantly. As the ice forms, the remaining vapor evaporates, leaving behind a massive, gaping hole in the cloud. The result? A sky that looks like it's been torn apart by some unseen force. People have mistaken sky punches for alien activity, secret military tests, or even divine intervention. But nope, it's just physics doing its thing. Still, even when you know the science, it's hard not to stare in awe at one of nature's strangest sky-born illusions. Number 6. Frogsicles. Some animals migrate, some hibernate. And then there's the wood frog, which has perhaps the most dramatic winter survival strategy of them all. It freezes solid. Not slows down, not sleeps. It literally turns into a block of ice and stops all bodily functions. No heartbeat, no breathing, nothing. Instead of avoiding the cold like most frogs, wood frogs burrow into leaf litter and embrace the freeze. Their bodies flood with glucose, which acts as antifreeze, keeping their cells from rupturing while the rest of their body turns into a Frogsicles. Their organs freeze, their eyes cloud over, and their body temperature plummets below zero. To any outsider, they're 100% dead. But then spring rolls around. As temperatures rise, these frozen frogs thaw from the inside out. Their heart starts beating again, their muscles come back to life, and, just like that, they hop away as if nothing happened. Number 5. Striped icebergs. Icebergs are usually imagined as massive, gleaming white chunks of frozen water, but reality isn't always so simple. Some of them come with striking, colorful stripes, looking more like abstract art pieces floating in the ocean than natural ice formations. These rare striped icebergs can be streaked with bands of blue, green, yellow, black, or even red, each shade telling a different story about where the ice has been and what it's absorbed. So, what causes these incredible stripes? The blue ones are the most common, formed when cracks in the glacier fill with seawater and freeze without trapping air bubbles, creating a deep, translucent blue. Black or brown stripes come from sediment gathered as the glacier grinds across the land. Green and yellow streaks? Those likely come from algae or mineral-rich seawater that seeped into the ice. Number 4. Blood falls. At first glance, it looks like Antarctica is bleeding. A deep red stain seeps from the Taylor Glacier, spilling down the ice like a gruesome crime scene. This eerie sight is called blood falls, and for years, scientists had no idea what caused it. The first theory? Red algae, but that was debunked. The real culprit? Iron-rich, ancient water trapped beneath the glacier for over 1 million years. The water, isolated from the outside world, became so salty and oxygen-starved that when it finally seeped out, the iron in it oxidized instantly, turning blood red. And here's the wildest part. The trapped water contains microbial life that has survived in complete isolation, untouched by the modern world. This bizarre ecosystem could give clues about life on other planets, especially on places like Mars or Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Well, it is unexplained. Number 3. The Song of the Ross Ice Shelf. Most people think of Antarctica as a land of silence, but the Ross Ice Shelf has been singing a tune for years, and we only recently discovered it. Using seismic sensors placed on the ice between 2014 and 2017, scientists detected a low, eerie hum vibrating across the shelf, a sound created by winds whipping over the snow dunes. The result is a ghostly, never-ending song, pulsing at 5 or more cycles per second. You can't hear it with your ears, but with the right instruments, it's like the continent itself is whispering. What's even stranger? The pitch of this song shifts with environmental changes. When storms hit, the frequency changes. When ice melts, the vibrations adjust. Scientists hope this natural tune can help them monitor Antarctica's stability, as ice shelves like Ross act as buffers that hold back massive glaciers. If they collapse, sea levels could rise dramatically. So, Antarctica's song? It could be an early warning system for the planet. Number 2. Aurora Australis and Steve. The Southern Lights, or Aurora Australis, are Antarctica's version of the famous Northern Lights, and they're just as breathtaking. Picture this. Swirling waves of green, pink, and red dance across the endless polar night as charged particles from the sun collide with Earth's atmosphere, setting the sky on fire. But here's the catch. Most tourists never see them, since Antarctica gets visitors during the endless daylight of austral summer. Only scientists and wintering researchers stuck in the deep polar night get front-row seats to one of the most incredible light shows on Earth. And then there's Steve. Yes, that's its actual name. Short for Strong Thermal Emission Velocity Enhancement, Steve is a mystery glow that sometimes appears alongside auroras, forming a pinkish, shimmering band in the sky. Unlike the aurora, it's not caused by solar particles. Scientists think it's a hot plasma stream, but no one fully understands it yet. Number 1. Frost flowers. Antarctica isn't exactly known for its blooms, but every now and then, it flowers, in ice. Enter frost flowers and delicate spiky ice formations that sprout from the surface of newly frozen sea ice like a frozen field of wildflowers. These fragile structures form when the air is much colder than the sea below, causing moisture to rise and instantly freeze into intricate crystalline petals. They might look like harmless decorations, but frost flowers are actually mini chemical factories. They contain up to 3 times the salinity of seawater, creating a bizarre, extreme environment where almost nothing should survive. And yet, they're full of bacteria. In 2009, scientists melted a few frost flowers and found millions of microscopic organisms living inside. These bacteria thrive in extreme cold, offering a glimpse into how life might exist in the icy worlds of our solar system. As the planet warms, we might see more of these icy blooms, revealing secrets hidden in the frost. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.